All right, so I'm gonna just get started. Now, these are just techniques that I use to get better at my timing, and hopefully it'll work for you. Now, just a few reminders. Timing and technique and the ways that we use to get better at timing and technique, I'm using them not interchangeably. Those are two different things, but they can go hand in hand. All right. It's not enough to simply be able to play a chord. And I celebrate anyone for being able to play a chord. You know, I celebrate that. But after you play a chord, how do you apply playing the chord? You know, and how do you make it sound beautiful and all those other things? And how do you like stay on top of a beat? Well, some people neglect the fundamentals of playing with a metronome. That's the one of the main things about just improving timing. And some people are afraid of pain, or they are afraid of discomfort. And that's something that you can't be afraid of. I've mentioned before, and I don't think I've actually shared a video, but I have run into a couple of videos where, individuals with no arms, but they play with their feet. They play guitar with their feet, and they're able to rhythmically get it. So our bodies are capable of doing what you tell it to do. To be quite honest with you, your body is capable of doing whatever you tell it to do. If that limb is there, now it'll take time. And think of your body as just wrinkled, and it's wrinkled and kind of kinked, and you just got to iron out the kinks. And those kinks require time and repetition. Okay. And when we do it over and over, and we do it correctly over and over, we can get it right. So don't just, again, I celebrate progress in on every edge of the cube, or whatever corner, you're able to get it in. That's cool. But sometimes we gotta, it's helpful that when we're doing it, that we do it with a metronome. Okay. And I didn't even check to see if, no, don't allow. I don't even know why this is up anyway. So I utilize Logic a lot for just a lot of things. I'm not really gonna do no recording. I just want to use the metronome. Okay, so with the metronome, what do we got it on? Let me see. We got it on. Just making sure I can hear it. Yeah, we can. Right now it's at 120 BPM. All right. Now for practice, that's kind of fast. And what I would like for you all to keep in mind is that, don't be afraid of starting slow. And when you start slow, that could be boring. And I'll be honest with you, it can make you fall asleep. I start to doze off when I'm actually practicing sometimes. If it's something that I'm really trying to get, and but let's just say you're practicing, and I go back to the major chord, the major scale. The reason why I go back to the major scale is it's the most fundamental thing. I use the major scale to warm up. I use major scale and pentatonics to warm up primarily. So I'm going to do that. Okay. This is 120. I would say slow down to 80 maybe. Or let's go to 160, because you can actually get the sub divided. You know what I'm saying? You can get that. And we can keep it here. All right. So let's slow it down a little bit. Let's slow it down to 130. I guess I was up to 120, but I didn't keep subdivisions in mind. And keep in mind, y'all, you can ask whatever question. The topic is timing and technique and stuff like that. but it's also like a Q&A. So keep that in mind. So feel free to drop a comment with your question. All right. I'm open today. All right. So with this, one thing that people get discouraged about when they're learning guitar is, they feel like they can't get it. But one thing that you cannot neglect is slowing down. You gotta slow it down. And we want to hurry and get it right so fast. And there are many things that we didn't get good at fast, doing it the first time. So I'm just going to start. And then we can go to like a more rhythm type thing. Actually, let's start with the rhythm. I'm going to choose, let's just say on the 3rd fret, I'm going to play the E, B, and G string in the 3rd fret, and I'm right here, and I'm just barring it, okay? All right, and I'm just going to utilize that. And I'm telling you, it's going to feel boring, but it's necessary. I'm going to do all down strums. Now I'm going to go every other click first. Carter, what's up, man? Now, some people have a tendency to go ahead of the beat, like, but learn how to become sensitive to this click. No, we don't want to do that. We want to let me do this real quick. Sorry about that. All right. I think you can see my hand better that way. Now, at some point, we want to start doing some up strums as well. Now, one thing we don't think about is like our hand has to come up anyway in order to go down. Now, I would do something like that for like a minute straight. And the thing is, I would do it for a minute straight and just, I do this like I would in a gym. Okay. If I'm working out and I'm doing, bench presses, you do sets, you do reps. Okay. It's recommended to do 8 to 12 reps of a weight that you can sort of match that rep set. Okay. So if you can go 20 reps with a particular weight, it's not recommended to do that weight. Go to a weight that you can do about 12 reps and you're like done. You know what I'm saying? And because that's where the growth happens. All right. If you can do 20 reps, I'm not saying that it doesn't work. It's just, it'll be more effective if you can go to a weight that you can do about 12 and you can't do that many after the 12. And you got to figure out what that weight is. Okay. So that's just like the idea. So if a minute is too long for you, don't go a minute, go 30 seconds. And then as a way to measure, okay, after the 30 seconds, if 30 seconds is the most that you can do, well, over time, increase it to 40. Okay. And then eventually get to a minute. Now, after you get to a minute, it's time to dial it back to 30 seconds, but increase the speed. Okay. So then, and this is simply, this ain't got nothing to do with a song. This ain't none of that. This is simply establishing muscle memory. Okay. And I'm going to kind of speed up. Now for me, I would go to like 140, you know. For a beginner, I would say go 10 BPM increments. Those of you who don't know what BPM is, well, this is a metronome, and it's at 140 BPM. BPM stands for beats per minute. Okay, and that's just how fast or slow a metronome is. And I would say increase it about two increments of 10, meaning 3 different times. So in this situation, if we start off at 130, we'll end off at 150. So start out at 130, do 140, and then do 150. And just do about 5 minutes of that, okay? And don't, you ain't got to get repetitive about it, but don't neglect it either. After you do that, now you've done the strumming. So now let's start to try to do a scale at that same, well, maybe a little slower. Well, let's go back to 130. Let's do that. Yeah. So I'm going to do a major scale again, but this time I'm going to do like a B major scale. Here's how that sounds. If this is too fast for you, you can half it. Instead of doing this, okay, well, if that's too fast, go this way. And do it over and over. But it is important, in my opinion, to kind of chase the discomfort. Like chase it. If it's uncomfortable, that's kind of good because you can make the adjustment. Okay, so I'm not saying do stuff uncomfortable. I'm just saying like that could be an indicator that you're doing it right. If it's too easy, it's like, maybe it's just good technique. I don't know, but like that's something I would utilize, and I would increase the time with that. But understand that you want to feel some resistance. All right. Now, it starts to get real crazy when you start upping the time and then you're doing the strumming and you start feeling it in your arm and it's like burning. That's a good thing. Okay. Now, so that's metronome. Now, metronomes can be boring, but I like practicing with a metronome. But if you don't like metronomes, guess what? And now Logic has this. There are loops available. You got GarageBand. If you got a Mac and you can pull up GarageBand, it's going to come with loops. All right. So just keep that in mind. Now loops will kind of put you in a position to kind of be in a live situation with a band, So I would go to instrument, and this should be the same in GarageBand as well as Logic. And if you don't have either of these, download something like Audacity. That's a free software that you can, put on like a PC. You know what I'm saying? And just like pull up one of the drum joints. So let's say drums, and we don't want to do that. But don't know about this one. No. It's crazy. But just find something that you like. All right. Okay. I don't know. Let's roll with this. And we're just doing this for the sake of, what we're doing right now. Now it had 125 BPM, but the thing is, in Logic, it'll actually adjust. So if I adjust the tempo, it'll actually adjust with it. So let me see if I decrease it to 100 or 99, it'll actually decrease with it. Okay. So this is great for practicing. And if you just have a chord that you like, well, this is actually a good way. You know, go back to that 3rd fret. Or you can pull up your scale. And figure out like what is pushing the limits for you. Like what is pushing the limits for you? Whatever that is. You know, don't get in that place where just because it's easy, like that's what you want to like be around. No, go to the hard stuff. Go to something that is pushing the limits for you. Okay. Now, one thing I have to pull up is stuff like, you know, like real fast, like chicken picking music and stuff like that. I have to do that because for me, that's pushing the limits, and I have to get that track, and then I have to actually slow it down. And let's say if I'm playing this C major chord, if I'm playing it like, someone can strum it like this, but there's also, you know, like the finger picking thing. So I have to slow that down and gradually speed it up. You know, so on and so forth, to where I can so like, but starting it off slow, there's nothing wrong with that. Because slowing it down will actually help you to locate what you actually got to work on. You have to, like, you might notice that your wrist is turned the wrong way. You may notice that you're pushing the strings too hard. Like some people complain about the tips of their fingers being callous. Well, that should happen, but you may notice that you don't have to press as hard. So doing something like this exercise, it'll help to locate what you have to adjust. All right. So just keep that stuff in mind. All right, let's move to something like the pentatonic scale. Same rhythm, but let's do pentatonic. And I'm just gonna do a slow pentatonic, a pentatonic. So we can go like this. If that's not fast enough for you, well, you can double it. So you have to know what is not enough for you. So if you got to double it, if that's not fast, like for me, I start to feel it after I do it like 15 times. I start to feel it. And when I start to feel it, that's when I keep going. And then, believe it or not, after doing that like twice, I can actually up it up some more. You know what I'm saying? And it's important that I do it clean too. And don't hammer on. Like, you can hammer on, but sometimes we're not doing it. Like, you can. That's okay, but try to pick every single note. Okay? What opinion, let me stop it real quick. The best value is relative. That's relative. I would say $150. You can get a brand new Yamaha. You can get a brand new. What is it? It's a Yamaha. I forget what it is. Let me see real quick. You can get a brand new Yamaha F something. And I actually did a video recently on this. Let me see if I can find it. Because I got the tag right here. It is. Yeah. It's actually like $179. So, but Yamahas, in my opinion, are really good guitars. So let me actually pull this up. Is it a F3? Is it an FS800? Let me see. FS800. Let me do this real quick. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure y'all can see this. I'm just making sure it's actually popping up. But yeah, like this right here. Like Yamahas are actually pretty good guitars, in my opinion. Come on, man. Now, regardless of what you buy, still make sure that you take it to somebody who will make sure that, you know, the strings are, you know, new, you know, get some new strings. All right. And make sure that the string height is pretty good. Okay. Like make sure all of that stuff is actually comfortable for you. You know, you don't want the strings like scraping the fretboard, but you definitely want for it to be comfortable for you to play. Even down at the nut end of the strings, you don't want that to be too high. If it's uncomfortable to play right here, and some guitar teachers recommend, well, it should be high so your hands get stronger. I mean, I don't recommend guitar learners being discouraged because it's uncomfortable and then they want to quit. I say get a guitar that is set up properly. Yeah. Yep. Just make sure it's set up properly. Make sure that the string height is, you know, a decent height, not too low, definitely not too high. And you should be able to play comfortably on the open end at least. On when I say open end, I'm saying toward the head. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And like I told you all before, and maybe some of you all, I see there are more people on more than who are actually engaged in the comments. I invite you all to, you know, get in the comments. Don't be shy. But this guitar was $55 when I bought it from a pawn shop. You know what I'm saying? So this is my main guitar. Now, of course, I upgraded it. Like Stratocasters, Fender Stratocasters, Squier, Deluxe Strats. I would recommend that you get a Fender or a Mexican, you know, Fender or whatever. Get one of those because sometimes Squiers don't have the parts that fit, the Fender parts that fit properly, but I was just willing to do the work. But this guitar was $55 at a pawn shop, and it was just one of those things. I knew what I was looking at, so I was like, okay, let me get it. But this is a Squier. This is not a Fender. Okay, and I don't even have a real Fender guitar. I got a bunch of Squiers on this wall, nothing but Squiers. I just upgraded them, and I didn't spend more than $150 for any of them. Now, once I upgraded them, I would say this guitar is worth about $1,000. When I put all the stuff, and I got a loaded pick guard with the pickups that I like. The pick guard by itself was $350. I experiment with new bridges. Let me see, that's good. I got a new neck. Okay. I recently changed this neck, and I got some new tuners. So I mean, I would say about $650 in terms of the price that I paid into making this guitar what I want it to be. Now, you can just spend the $500, $650 on a nice used Fender guitar. And yeah, the key is you gotta sit down with it and just feel it. Like, it has to feel good to you. Yeah, like I would be fine if I played nothing but Squier guitars, but it's all about the player too. It's all about the player and how and their technique and all those things. And is the guitar set up well? If the guitar is set up well and it has good sustain, you're good. I promise you. As far as tone and all that other stuff, I would go for a guitar with great sustain. You got the intonation right, okay? Meaning, what I mean by intonation is you can have the guitar tuned up all the way. All the open strings can be tuned up perfectly. But as soon as you start playing down here, it sounds out of tune. And you can kind of feel it when you're playing down here. Like, you can feel that something is kind of off, but it's adjusting the string length and making sure that it's equidistant between the nut and the 12th fret, and between the 12th fret and the bridge. Has to be the exact same distance. And if it's not, if it's like a little bit off, if one string is kind of off, you'll hear it even if you tune it up. Hey, the guitar, not the player. That's funny. Yeah, that was a bad one. But if the player is good, the player can bring some magic out of even a bad guitar, But yeah, that's what I recommend. Like, get the guitar properly set up, because that will actually be a more rewarding experience. It'll sound like you want for it to sound. But guess what? If the guitar does not have proper intonation, and if you don't tune it at all, you will blame a guitar teacher for not teaching you the right chord, or you'll even blame yourself for not being able to get it right. So you just want to have it properly set up so you got something good to work with. And I know of many guitar learners who quit because it's just like, man, I just can't get it. I'm like, yo, and then I pick it up. I'm like, okay, first of all, you need to tune. You got to tune the guitar first, and then, and once you tune it, then it's like, okay, cool. Now play it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know what this person was showing you. Anyway, so that's that, So yeah, you can, I would say realistically, I know I found this guitar for $55, but to be honest with you, I bought it for the body. Y'all might think I'm vain, but yeah, I bought it for the body. The body was nice and thick and dense, and I'm like, I'm gonna get some good tone out of this. I'm gonna switch the neck. So that is what I saw in it. And it's like a 93 Squier, the body, 1993. It's like, that's considered vintage at this point. So yeah, keep all of those things in mind as far as what I mentioned about, finding a good BPM that you can start at. use a metronome, use a loop, use a song that you like. If you got like one go-to song to go to, and all you do is use that song, the one song that you know how to play well, to warm up, do it. You know what I'm saying? It's exactly the rhythm that you want it to be. And, it's within your lane, but it would be cool if you have, that you put it in the software where you can speed that song up, slow it down or whatever. Now for some warm-ups, and you all have probably seen this, I'll do like 3. And I'll use the metronome, but I'll do it as I'm explaining it. I'm not going to do it the whole time. But I'm sure some of you have heard of like the spider warm-up, the spider walk or something like that. But the way that works, yeah. I mean, guitar is just one of those things you gotta keep doing it. And I'll say I could go a long time without playing guitar, and I think at this point I'm pretty good in terms of remembering. But you just gotta keep doing it. After a while, it's like walking. It's like anything else. You might be rusty at it. If you pick it up after 6 months, you might be rusty at it for like a day or a week, and then you're back at it. Or like if you, it's like walking. You know what I'm saying? You can not walk for a long time because you go to sleep. Maybe you're just like in the bed for a while, but then when you get up in the morning, it's like, okay, let me get my blood flowing, and then I can. After that, I'm good, So I look at guitar as like an extra limb, to be quite honest with you. I think I told y'all that before. Anyway, the spider technique or whatever is basically you're on each fret. You're spreading your fingers on each fret, a fret apiece, and you're either using a pick or your thumb to play each note. So you start out like this. You just do one after the other, and then you go to the next string. You just keep going. Now, at first, it might be like, and that's okay. And then if you use a pick, you can do them all down. So on and so forth, till you can actually go up and down. And you just do it one after another. And sometimes people look at me when I'm crazy when I'm doing it, but I'm like, hey, every time I warm up, I do it. So let's say we use this right here. I'm gonna just use this as an example, and I'm gonna go slow at first, down. Let's slow it down even more. I ain't mad at this. Next string. Next string. So on and so forth. Then you can just half it. All down strokes. So on and so forth. You can do up and down. You can double it again. And then once you have that, go all the way up, and go the other way too. You can go this way. You can also go this way. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's good, man. Since I play my guitar, I have to do stuff to it pretty frequently, as far as like changing strings and stuff like that. So yeah, with this warm up, I'm gonna go back to what I was doing. gonna go up a fret. And so on and so forth. Now to speed it up. All the way up to this. And that's the hard part, you know. All the way up. Do it all the way down, all the way up. And to be quite honest with you, it's pretty difficult. It's pretty hard to do. The whole way, like by the time you get right here, you're like, oh. Fingers start not getting numb, but you know, you start feeling discomfort, but that is good. You know, if someone is doing push-ups, let's just say, yeah, you're right. I agree. If they're doing push-ups and they can only do 10 push-ups and it starts to burn at 10, try to bust out a couple, like 2 more. Do 2 more. You know what I'm saying? And if that's all you can do, great. That's good, because your body like responds to resistance. It does. And if you go throughout life avoiding resistance, you will not have a good life. Period. You're living very safe. That's kind of not a good thing. You know, so actually like hard times and stuff like that are very useful to build our character. You know, I'm not saying like look for a fight. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying people are, you know, no one's the same. So we run into all sorts of things. So just being resilient and practicing that resilience is actually a good thing. So with guitar, once you get up to here, and I mean, it's like, and for a beginner, you might feel it when you at the 3rd fret. You might feel it on that first set. Well, just keep going a couple more passes. So if you start feeling it here, and you feeling it, keep going. I mean, almost to the point to where you're like, you want to give up, and then it's very important that you're lined up right, your back is straight, okay? If your arm is turned incorrectly, you probably won't be able to reach the notes, but just make sure that everything is in line. Your elbow is, you know, at the right angle, you know, for whatever your arm length is, and you're able to reach all the strings or all the frets, and stay on one string if you need to. Nothing wrong with that. So cool, you got that. So, and you can do them in different orders as well. So I do this, but I also do this. I change the order. And this, you don't have to like do it, but I'm just telling you, like, you can get real creative with it. So. And then I speed it up. So what I'm doing is I'm basically hitting the 4 with the 4th fret first, and then I go to the 1st fret and then chromatically go up 3. So, and then I go up to this string and go to the 1st fret and then go to the 4th fret and go down 3. Then I alternate it. So you can do it the same every string, like start on the 4th fret and then on the 1st fret up chromatically 3 frets, and do that same thing all the way up. Or you can alternate it. You can do that. If that's too much, you can just do 2 frets at a time and just index finger, middle finger. And then do your middle finger and ring finger. Then you can do your ring finger and pinky. I know that there were a couple of people who were talking about their pinky is like, you know, real, like not strong. I'm like, yo, after you do your fret stuff, focus on the ring finger and pinky exercise. Just go up and down. So on and so forth. Okay, so you can focus on the parts that you need help with. And plus, like I got one of these. This Diodario tool, and it'll do each finger separately. And I'll just sit here and go. And just, it ain't nothing deep about it. Just, whatever. If it gets uncomfortable, just keep like busting out a couple of more, because it's going to make it easier that next time, like after a few days, and your muscles start to adapt. Mm-hmm. Hey man, if we want to do it, we want to do it. Um, yeah. Because the thing is, learning guitar, that's a transferable skill. It's like whatever you learn on guitar, and a lot of things are this way. When you got something to kind of take your mind off of the things that you do normally, let's say you're a firefighter, and that's what you do. Well, you need something to kind of get your mind off that a little bit, and put your hand on the guitar and just play some tune. I'll sit there and just whatever, just do what you do. And just sit and strum and just play. It'll get your mind off that. And then you'll notice that, your mind is just in a real cool place as a result of just getting your mind off of it. Some people like to read, some people like to do arts and crafts, or, maybe they coach a basketball team or whatever's good for you. But this is something that you ain't got to rely on somebody else. It's just you and the guitar. You ain't got to have a bunch of people, even though it's good to have a social setting, which is one of the reasons why, I started showing up, because I'm like, maybe I can help people who are a little discouraged at this thing, So, that was that part. Oh, another thing that I was wanting to mention is, and maybe I'll wait on it, but trying to see, arpeggios. For those of you who don't know what an arpeggio is, it is basically not like a scale where you're playing, but let's just say that you're playing a chord. You're basically playing the chorded notes one at a time, like you would a scale. So you're not playing them like, or you're more so playing okay, it's more so that kind of thing. Well, you can do that. You can practice arpeggios, or this is not the same exact thing, but which I'd already mentioned, finger picking. Along with that, and you can give sort of an arpeggio feel, and you can slightly speed it up, so yeah, this is a Logic Pro X is what I use. Logic Pro is like $200 or $300, but it's not a subscription. I think it is Mac only. But if you have a Mac and you don't want to purchase anything, you can download GarageBand free if you have a Mac. If you got a PC, like I said, you can download something like Audacity and that will allow you to record. And Audacity is free. So, but if you're doing like I definitely I do music production and things like that. So that's what I use. So but I feel like everyone should have some sort of recording something, even if you use your phone. Record it. Like if I didn't have this stuff, I would just use my voice recorder on my phone and just sit with an acoustic guitar and just But recording is a great way to measure progress. It's a great way to measure your progress. If you're just playing and you just put it down, that's cool. But if you play it, hit record, and you come back to it and then you listen to it, you're like, oh wow, I can make this adjustment, or I can, oh wow, that was a good idea. You're putting it on record in that way. So that's useful. I'm gonna say this every now and then. Those of you who are listening and not commenting, I encourage you to comment and please ask questions. No Limit Soldier. That's cool. Cool Edit. Yeah. Yes. I had that too. I actually had that too. The first software that I used was it's called FL Studio now, but it was Fruity Loops back in the day. But it was Fruity Loops and Cool Edit. That's what it was. Like people who recorded vocals, they use Cool Edit or Cool Edit Pro or whatever you call it. Yep. So yeah, that's that. Now I don't want to go too far and mention too much, but those are like some foundational things that I mentioned, and if you actually implement those things, actually do them, you will see progress. And to be honest with you, I use these things like I'm going to church in the morning, and when I start up, when I hook everything up, plug everything up, and when I start warming up, I'm going straight to major scale. That's the first thing I go to every single time, and I'm listening for like, man, okay, let me start back over. Let me do that more clean, and okay, cool, that was too easy. Let me speed it up, and then I'll try to speed it up. And it's like you'll never run into a roadblock. Just keep speeding it up. Your body will do it. It'll stumble at first, but if you can do it clean at a slower tempo, and you speed the tempo up just like 5 BPM, your body don't even know the difference. It'll just do it, but just do it in increments. Don't jump from 110 BPM to 120 to 130 BPM, or from 80 BPM to 100 BPM. Don't do that. Go from 80, do 85, do 90, and your body will adapt to it. So that's just what that is. Now I will talk about some things just because it's convenient, but I'm probably going to do the next video on this probably a little more in depth, and I can get on like some chords, like making chords sound more cool, and maybe that's what I'll name the next one, like playing cool chords. I mean, maybe y'all can give me a song that maybe I know, but because I use like the whole C major chord quite a bit, but I think I want to like use something that actually it just sounds cooler, than just play the C major chord, So anyway, C major. And of course I played that in a very embellished way, but if you just strum it straight, that's how that sounds. We know about the C major 7 chord, and right now what I'm doing is playing variations of the same chord. That's C major 7. Here's the C major 9. Okay, I think this is a C6. Yeah. So as you can notice, the C major is like, you can hear this note. is very like, there's a lot of finality in that chord. The major seventh, that note is moved. The major nine, you hear this note more so. The six, you more so hear this note. So all these chords are have a little more warmth than just, if I were to change this to a minor chord in the same position, then minor seventh, a little warmer, minor nine, maybe a flat nine, if I'm doing it right. Maybe this is right. Yeah. So there are no ends to these chords, y'all. So I would sit here and just, not here, but, while learning guitar, I would learn the actual chord and just move certain things around. And just see how it sounds to me, So, and I'm mainly bringing this up because learning guitar can be very fun. And sometimes we just don't have the ideas, but don't be afraid to just kind of stumble up on something and actually do it, So I'm just kind of trying to open your mind up a little bit to just, try some new things. Now, if I were to use a chord progression, like a simple one, like one, like a 1 6 2 5, and I'll play it at a rhythm. If I start to change these chords, the colors or the structure of the chords, it'll sound way more interesting. Okay. Now, without getting too in depth about it, I'm going to play this C major, but change it to a C add 2. And basically what I moved was, on the B string, I moved that from the 5th fret to the 3rd fret. Everything else stayed the same. So instead of the me playing the C major, where the E is played on that 3rd fret on the B string, well, I can move that. It sounds like this. That by itself can automatically change, like make a difference in the chords. So instead of this, you're playing this. And the next chord is an A minor. Well, I can play a minor 11 and it can actually sound a little bit like the C major chord. So it'll sound like this. And then I can play the 2 chord, which is D minor or minor 7th. Well, to kind of make it sound like the other chords, I can either play something like the other one, like this, or like this, the minor 9. So it'll sound like this. Play it again. So this is one of the ways that people actually come up with melodies. Okay, if they're like singers and they want to write to the song and they want to come up with a melody, well, the da 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 might be kind of boring to some people, even though you can do some cool things with that. Well, you can switch that up. whatever you want to do with that 5 chord, which is a G major. So the melody would be like. Okay. If you change that 5 into like a crazy chord, like let's say just like an 11 chord, you could do that and it'll change to this. So that switches up the melody too. So just, not being afraid to learn different chord variations, because now if you do that, you're able to bring about some different colors into your chords, and you're not stuck at just this is cool. But when you're able to learn different chords and learn how to use them, it becomes a little more excited, and then you can be a little more motivated as well. And to be honest with you, every note that I played it still falls under the major scale. So it's still like a part of the key. I didn't deviate. You can tell when a chord deviates when you do this kind of thing. You do like let's say you do that sounds interesting, but I'm just, I want you to see what you can do within the major scale. But this right here is cool. Let me play it a little better. It works, but I would do something like this first and then deviate like. Okay. So those are like chords and colors and things like that. So yeah, just wanted to share, just a little something to really motivate and just, show you the different things. I didn't move much. From this place, but honestly, you can make any melody work with almost any chord. And I'll stop there as far as explaining the chord stuff, because a lot of times if we can't match it with a song, it's kind of like why are we doing this? But excuse me. Let me use an example. What are those chords to How Does It Feel? How does it feel? How does it do? Yeah, is it? I think that's a C dominant 7, C7. So if I was playing that song in a live situation, I'm playing How Does It Feel by D'Angelo. It starts off with a D major. And this is a D major. This is A minor 7th. This is G major 7th. This is a C7. All right. But let's just say I want to do something different, but it still works with the song. Well, if I know different chord shapes and different variations and things that I can pull from, in terms of vocabulary, if I know my major seventh, my major ninth, and, maybe like a sixth chord, maybe I can experiment, maybe not. But why not have something that I can pull from? So I'm going to play the chord progression, and right or wrong, I'm just going to see what I can come up with. So. So do that again. Okay, that actually kind of worked. Let me see. Okay, that actually kind of worked. But again, I'm using these shapes, so I feel like it's important to know the technical way, and then just learn shapes just to learn shapes. Okay. And again, y'all, I'm open to questions. All right. I know that it's four of us in here. So, but yeah, but learn that stuff because it's very useful. It's very useful. I'm gonna play that one more time. Oh. So C major seventh instead of a C7. Major seventh. Oh, actually, let me resolve from the C major seven to a D6. I think that's what that is. C6. I like that movement. I think that's cool too. But yeah, man, I'm up here just playing stuff. But yeah, I just, I wanted to meet and kick it a little bit. So I hope that some of this was useful. And, we can get back on some song stuff, but, I was just wanting to get on some foundation stuff as well. It's very, very important to get on, to stay on foundation and how to actually, warm up, use the metronome, loop, and or like a song that you like, okay? And learn the chords and attempt to play the song at length. Start off with the chorus or just start off with the verse. One reason why these softwares are very useful is that you can pull the song, the WAV file, into the software and you can just loop the part that you know. It's a great practicing tool. You can loop the part that you know and you can just focus on that part. And most softwares can actually slow it down for you and all those things. And if you have to be here, and change into a G. If that's where you are, cool. But try to do this for the duration of the verse. While changing, try like practice the changing, because changing chords is a thing too. And you can even practice changing the chord without strumming. You can just sit here and do this. Or, this, just practice changing it without doing this part. Alternately, you can practice strumming without playing the chord. Put a metronome though, like make it make sense. But when it's time to put it together, practice some finger picking. And if it feels boring, so what? Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. If all hearts and minds are clear, like I normally say, I'm about to get off. If you got any questions, try to beat me before I hit the button. But some more Bruno Mars stuff. I think the song I'm gonna keep the door open. I'm gonna keep the door open, or I'm gonna leave the door open, whatever you call that. That's a pretty cool like guitar song. And some others, some that are like a little simpler. All right. So I'm always open to suggestions. I haven't forgotten yours, Anthony. The one by Chet Atkins, that is a little, that's a tough one to teach a beginner, to be quite honest with you. But I can teach you some techniques on that one to help you understand what's happening, because Chet Atkins just he ain't just strumming guitar. He's doing some finger picking techniques that are just not that common. So just, keep that stuff in mind. But yeah, if everybody's cool, no questions, about to head out. I will be posting the Tony song, an actual cover. I've been spending time editing that. I'll be posting that, as well as a video on how to change strings. So I feel like that is important. So I have that coming as well. So I have a few things coming. So it's taking me a minute to kind of edit them, and I'm trying to do them to where I have them done for the week. That's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I hope everything is cool. Everyone, please know that you're blessed. God loves you. I love you. And I appreciate y'all hanging out. No questions. I'll see y'all the next time. And peace.